Well, gracious greetings, St. Stephen family and guests. Welcome to another edition of Living Water for a Thirsty Thursday. I don't like it. Yeah, we've been talking about worry, but today we're talking about murmuring. Yeah, and we murmur about a lot of things. Like in the church, sometimes we murmur about who's gonna sing a song, when a song's gonna be sung, why that song is sung, all those different things. We have some murmuring and some complaining to do. So yeah, I don't know how to play this thing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here just so that we know it's one thing that some churches complain and murmur about. Not St. Stephen, it's all the other churches, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But nonetheless, prayerfully, your takeaways today will be that of how doubt plays into this, how whining plays into this, and even how crying plays into all of this. And so the scripture that I wanted to read is straightforward. It comes from Philippians, the 2nd chapter, the 14th verse. And it simply says, do all things without murmuring and disputings. Do everything that we have in life without murmuring and disputing. So when we see this word murmuring and disputing, what is it saying? Well, when you look up murmuring, whether it's Hebrew, Greek, or if you look it up in a dictionary, it just speaks of in your own private space that you express dissatisfaction or discontentment. And so it's basically saying, I don't like something. And you start off murmuring within yourself or within a small circle, if you would. And so it says everything that we do in life, don't have it. Just don't do it. And one thing that it kind of expresses is that we have some doubts about what's going on. We don't think whoever is putting something in place that it should be put in place. If they do have something in place, we don't think that particular person should be doing it. If it is that person and that thing, we don't think it's the right time that it should be. And there's some doubt there. And then from that doubt, we move to a place of from doubting to whining. And that whining is the murmuring. It's when the external starts to happen from what we thought about internally, where we actually voice it. We actually share it with somebody else. And we start letting it be known that I don't like it. And then if we don't get the response we're looking for from those individuals, then we move from the doubting and the whining all the way to the point of crying. Now, of course, this crying isn't talking about like a little baby's crying. This is the crying where we just sound like we're spoiled. You know, we sound like that little brat kid that we all know about, the baby kids, if you would. All those that are difficult to deal with. We're not getting our way. I don't like it, and I want everybody to know it. Well, the Bible is clear in Philippians as Paul talks to the church at Philippi. He says, everything that you're doing, do it without that murmuring. And the word disputing here in Greek actually speaks to doubting. So do it without talking about it, without being doubtful about it, do it without whining about it, and surely do it without crying about it. And then verse 15, he says, here's why. That you may be blameless, that you may be pure, that you may be a witness, that you may be salt and light, and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you will shine as lights in the world. And so what it's saying is it doesn't mean that there aren't things out there to not like. It doesn't mean there aren't things out there to doubt. And it sure doesn't mean there are some things out there that you may want to whine about and even cry about. But God is challenging and God is urging and God is mandating that we do all things, regardless of what it is, how much we like it or don't like it, without disputings or murmuring. I just want to close out with how big this is with God. And if this doesn't hit you, I don't know what will, but this is huge. Go back to the Old Testament in the book of Numbers. And if you're in the 14th chapter, you'll hear God talking about the children of Israel. If you remember this, he says, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. Say unto them, as truly as I live, saith the Lord, as you spoken in my ear, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Doubtless you shall not come into the land concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb and Joshua, the son of Nun. If you know that story well, all that's simply saying is the 600,000 men that came out of Egypt and were going to the promised land. Most theologians believe if you add the children and the women, it would go up to about 2.4 million people. Because of their murmuring and complaining about not having different types of food and vegetables and the niceties that they thought were in Egypt, he says, all of you are going to die in this desert. You're going to walk around out here 40 years, and only 2 of you are going to make it into the kingdom. Why? Because you don't like it, because you doubted, because you whined, because you cried, because you murmured. 2.4 million of you are going to die. 600,000 men minus 2 will not go into the kingdom. Well, I hope that gives you some motivation to get to that place where even though you don't like it, you still trust him and say God is in control, because he is. And God, even though I don't always trace you, I'm still going to trust you. Tune in next week as we continue and kind of close out this journey dealing with worry as we talk about something close related. We're going to talk about, and you didn't hear it from me, and we're going to talk about gossip. Continue to make God proud in all you say, think, and do.